Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Morgan Dollar Mondays with Massabesic Gold and Silver. This week, we're going to be looking at two 1902 New Orleans Mint Morgan dollars. I thought it'd be great to piggyback from our last Morgan Dollar Mondays where we featured a 1902 Philadelphia. So this week, yes, we're going to look at two 1902 New Orleans Mint Morgans. The mintage on these were 8,636,000. And for the most part, on the two coins I'm going to show you, the luster, at least on the obverse, is quite nice, especially on the coin in hand here. The obverse with the other 19020 that I'm going to show you is a little bit subdued, but it's not that far off. Both coins I like, but we'll get into that a little later. Wayne Miller wrote about the 1902 New Orleans Mint Morgan that typically they are among the poorest struck of the late New Orleans dollars, and most are flatly struck with horrible luster. That is not the case here, but I do want to share another fact with you. Way back when, Ron Guth shared about how in 2005, PCGS determined that all of the 1896-0, 1900-0, and 1902-0 silver dollars with so-called micro-O mint marks were counterfeits. This announcement was based on the discovery that all three dates shared common die markers. The 1899 O micro O is a legitimate variety and should not be confused with the counterfeit micro O's of 1896, 1900, and 1902. A noted numismatist wondered whether the micro O was a mint mark from a quarter dollar. The 1899 O micro O is not nearly as rare as it once was believed to be, but because of the tremendous collector demand for Morgan dollars, interesting varieties such as this are often snapped up. So with that said, I know you've been enjoying a closer look at this coin. Yes, there are a lot of marks on this coin. There seems to be a lot of die cracks. Just again, going back to what others have said about the poor strike on these, and just the overall not a great strike. Just like all the little bumps here and there, all the marks that don't seem to have happened, in the bags. It just happened in the poor striking process at the New Orleans Mint. With that said, though, I think you'd agree with me that the luster on this obverse, at least, is really kind of nice. It's interesting at a distance with this coin. The luster really looks nice, and then when you get up close, that's when you see all these marks. The toning on the back of this coin I know is not for everybody. Truthfully, it's not even really for me. I think this type of toning, it does have a little bit of the blues and everything, but these spots here kind of say to me that this could be questionable. There seems to be a lot of dots here and there, but again, maybe it was just how it was stored. I'm not really sure. I don't know if this was deliberate, but there are again quite a few marks on the back of this. It looks like almost like the die broke. I'm not really sure, but it just seems like in some spots here, it really almost shattered in a sense. Again, this is just not as eye appealing as some tone coins are, and you can see, especially here in the feathers, you can see how flat the strike is. I think the big marks. Well, we'll get to that. We'll just continue to look here. The detail of the wings is nice. The fields are relatively open, but there are quite a few marks, notably the one that is on the chest of the eagle and then just off to the side here. It looks to me like another Morgan, while it was in its bag, kind of scraped across it. But I'm not really sure. I'm just really guessing on that. It looks like the reeded edge kind of scraped across, but that's just my opinion. And we all know how much an opinion is worth. But anyway, I do like the luster on this coin. Here is the second 1902 I don't know if you agree with me, but the luster on the obverse on this is very nice as well. But I do seem to like the luster on the other obverse a little bit better. Both, I'll tell you, both are really nice coins, especially considering that these are usually not very nice looking coins. I do want to share with you a quote from Bowers. The 1902 O is lightly struck in the centers in a general way. Some concentrated effort is needed to find sharp pieces, but again, the advantage is that certification services take no notice, and such can be had for the finding. Some mint state pieces are lustrous and attractive, but most are not. And there's a reason why I shared with you that quote, and I will as we kind of look at these more, I will go into more depth. But just pay attention here to this coin, and you can see that the fields here is relatively open. The strike is quite nice, especially the eagle's feathers here on the chest. Even on the obverse of this Morgan, it is quite nice by her ear. But again, it's just taking strike into consideration, which a lot of the certification companies do not. And that's why I wanted to share that quote with you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Why do I say that? Well, you will see why I wanted to share that quote once we get both of these coins side by side. You can see that, there's the typical kind of bag marks on her cheek, typical kind of bag marks in front of her face and behind her head and such. But overall, not huge distracting marks like on the reverse of the previous coin with those large marks on the eagle's chest and then next to the eagle's wing. To me, those are quite distracting. But again, it's whatever you want to put into your collection. This coin here, I see it is, I think it's a superior coin to the other because you see very little die cracks here. You see very little, marks that this is a later strike. I would say this is an earlier on strike rather than a later die strike. But again, you can see the flatness by the ear, but that's typical of the New Orleans Mint, as we all know. And you can see, just the hint of little bag marks here and there, but nothing too strenuous. This coin, I picked up actually both of these in a lot. They were with three other Morgan dollars of just common Morgan dollars. And I will say, if you can find those types of deals, you can almost get these at wholesale. Both of these coins, and I know people are like, oh, I don't believe you. I got them on an average for $75 on eBay. And the reason why was because I bought the 5 coins. And one of them was an 1880 0/9, which is more valuable. So when you did the math, both of these common date Morgans worked out to be about $75. So you can really find some deals out there, especially on the more common dates. This is an MS64, as you can see, and I think that that's an excellent grade for this coin, and I do really appreciate the luster on it. I think it's got really good luster. And then back to this coin, you've probably guessed the grade. It is also going to be a MS64. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about that quote from Bowers, because he's arguing that the certification companies, they don't really take in a lot of the luster aspect. Well, they do. I shouldn't say that they don't take in the luster, but strike and such. So you can see that the one on the left is very much a flatter strike than the one on the right, but yet they both have the same grade. The one on the left has those major bag marks, especially on the reverse, but because I think it does have a little bit of a superior luster on the obverse. I don't know if that's what factored in to keep it a 64. I'm not really sure. I'm not a professional grader when it comes to these. But I just want to show you again up close here with this one. It does have nice luster, and it really does have some, just little marks, nothing too huge on the cheek. And right by the ear, though, that's really why I know it's hard. There's something on the plastic there. But to me, that's a better strike than the other dollar. Which then to me again makes this the superior coin. Go ahead and put in the comments what you think of both of these coins, what you think of the luster on both. I'd love to hear your opinions as always. I really enjoy hearing from you all, even if you don't agree with me, because it helps me learn. I hope I help you all learn with things as well. Because to me, I really treat this channel as kind of my coin club that I don't have. So just yeah, look at this. Just look at the luster on the cheek, especially as it twirls on the jaw, on her jaw. I just look at that. That's why I say I really think that this coin has the superior luster of the two. But again, if you look at just above the ear there, how flat that ear is, which is typical of the New Orleans Mint. Anyway, I really hope that you all keep coming back to my channel and checking out this stuff. And until we meet again, stay safe and enjoy.